Or is this full-time MMA now?
I love full-time MMA right now.
Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full-time
MMA.
And holy smokes, full-time family, we have a great fight slated for UFC 230, a middleweight bout between the old god and the new god. We got Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa going down. This is the second big middleweight matchup that's been announced for UFC 230 in Madison Square Garden. The first one, not Luke Rockhold and Chris Weidman, that one's still being worked on. And with these two middleweight bouts already booked here, I'm not super sure if that fight comes to fruition, but if it does, if Luke Rockhold versus Chris Weidman actually happens at UFC 230, this is probably going to be the most stacked middleweight card we've ever saw. Holy smokes, because we already have Jacare versus David Branch. Now we've got Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa. They're working on Luke Rockhold versus Chris Weidman 2, the rematch. Holy smokes. But just on this matchup specifically, not going to lie, the booking is kind of surprising. I'm not sure if I like this fight because of the booking. Now, it's definitely still going to be a great fight, a great middleweight fight. But honestly, I was really excited to see Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. And I believe the UFC had other plans for Paulo Costa. And my thoughts are, well, this is some big-ass plans. If he loses to Yoel Romero, what happened to the fucking Adesanya-Costa fight? You know what I'm saying? I guess it could still happen, but I kind of wanted to see them both scrap when they were undefeated in the UFC for sure. But it is what it is. I mean, I'll definitely take this fight. Like I said, this is the soldier god Yoel Romero versus the actual god Paulo Costa, the Cuban god versus the Greek god. No, jokes aside though, these two dudes probably have the best physiques in the middleweight division. Pause. But with that being said, man, gonna be a great fight, but a tough task for Paulo Costa. Yoel Romero definitely has some of the best wrestling in the middleweight division, although it's not always on display because he's got the potential to knock a guy out, you know what I'm saying, in the blink of an eye with a fucking flying knee or something crazy, or just a big right hand, you know. I'm just saying, Yoel Romero can knock you out, so he doesn't always just like wrestle fuck guys like a lot of people might expect from such a high-level wrestler. But in this fight, man, if Paulo Costa can win, I think this will answer a lot of questions because he's going against one of the best wrestlers in the middleweight divisions, and that's really what you want to see from an up-and-coming prospect, right? Like, that's usually the ultimate test, when there's a lot of hype behind the guy, whenever you're like, oh, he could be part of the future of the division. You really want to see how they do against one of the strongest wrestlers, because that's, you know, if you can beat one of the best wrestlers in the division, you've got a chance at that title all the time. And in any division, I mean, if it's Frankie Edgar, if it's Chris Weidman, if it's Yoel Romero, those fucking wrestlers are tough and very hard to get past. And so if Paulo Costa can beat Yoel Romero, that's going to be a huge feather under his cap. I mean, as he moves forward in the middleweight division, hell, a win over Yoel Romero is going to have him a lot closer to a title fight than an Israel Adesanya fight, which I still want to see. But man, this fight is going to be dope. I didn't expect this announcement, especially yesterday. We just heard Luke Rockhold versus Chris Weidman being worked on for this card, which is still not official. But hey, man, it is what it is. With that being said, UFC 230 at Madison Square Garden just got that much better. We got Paulo Costa coming off of that second round KO TKO over Uriah Hall, and then Yoel Romero's coming off of that title loss to Robert Whittaker. So I mean, Paulo Costa's definitely getting a huge opportunity here, but it's going to be tough. So yeah, with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments about Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa. And PS full-time family, there's 2 days left on Yank My Dandy Doodle's offer. He will match all donations made to the fund in the next week plus 100. He said, get off your asses, full-time family. Let's do this up to $1,000. Yo, shout out to my motherfucking dog.
Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking DOG.